Excuse me, could you get me a clean glass? And I mean clean, not just wiped 3 times with a dirty rag. My name is Alisa Murray, and I'm here with my husband, a very important cloth merchant. But surely you must have heard about our family. Not to brag, but we are rather prominent. I am famed amongst Camelot's courtiers for throwing the most magnificent feasts. Well, my Duncan is here on business, of course. A very important contract with the Lightkeepers. I decided to accompany him because I have never been to the South, and I've heard so much about its wild, untamed beauty. So far, it's turned out to be terribly dull. And the smell... It's like stale fish and sweat. Hopefully I don't have to suffer it much longer. Pray, tell me, do you know anyone here who would run a small errand for me? Oh, nothing major. You see, I've had my eye on this beautiful abandoned estate overlooking the sea. It's not very far from here, but it's far enough away from all this rabble. If we stay here for a while, I need a place for myself. You understand that, right? No offense, but I can't keep living in a filthy room at an inn. When I asked the innkeeper to draw me a bath, he brought me a bucket. A bucket! Can you imagine? Finally, someone sympathetic to my plight. My Duncan has been heartless about it. He just keeps going on about how I was the one who wanted to come here. He told me to deal with it. Can you believe that? The nerve of the man. Well, what he doesn't know can't hurt him, can it? He should be glad that I can take care of myself. I'm not like the other high-born women, sitting around waiting to be handed everything on a silver platter. And besides, he knows better than to say no to me. Fine. The problem is that the manor appears to have some occupants, not legal ones, mind you, who need to be evicted. Forcibly, if there's no other way. You'll do it for me, won't you, dear? Splendid. I can't wait to start decorating. Maybe something nautical, to go with the sound of the waves crashing on the cliffs? Or do you think that's a trifle trite? There you are. Look, darling, it's the lovely mercenary I hired to clear out that seaside estate I told you about.
You did what?
Well, you told me to deal with it, so I did. You didn't expect me to just sit on my hands while surrounded by unwashed fishermen, did you?
Look, I'm sorry about my wife. Whatever she told you to do, forget about it. I'll pay you for your trouble. Trust me, I can imagine. Unfortunately, she often gets lost in her enthusiasm. We weren't, at least I wasn't planning on staying here any longer than necessary. We have no need for an estate.
Well, that's your opinion. One I simply do not share. You have? Oh, that's wonderful. I can start planning the welcoming banquet. I'm thinking sea foam made of spun silver, dancers dressed as alluring sea creatures.
And who are you going to invite, The crabs? None of your friends from Camelot are going to come all this way just to have dinner, are they?
Dear gods, Duncan, you're so plebeian. Of course they will come. Besides, there must be some important people here. Weren't you just talking with them? You can invite them too.
Good luck with that. Are you sure the place is safe now? That doesn't exactly build confidence.
Oh, nonsense, Duncan. Why must you always be so malcontent? Try looking on the bright side every once in a while, will you? I, for one, am simply ecstatic to start decorating our new nest. Trust me, when it comes to home decor, my tastes are unparalleled. Now, Duncan, please be a dear and pay the nice mercenary so we can be on our way to our new residence.
Oh, joy. Here's your money. Have a nice day. At least one of us will.
Oh, and do come visit us once we're all settled. I wouldn't mind some company amidst all this dreariness. Truly, there's so little to do here in terms of proper entertainment. There you are, finally. I've been searching everywhere for you. This is a matter of utmost importance. You simply must help me. My Duncan has gone missing, and if we don't find him soon, he might be in grave danger. Please, you have to find him. I can't possibly be a widow at my age. Mourning clothes are dreadfully unflattering on me. Oh, let me think. Just 2 days ago, or perhaps 3, I've been terribly occupied with redecorating the mansion and designing an entire new wardrobe for our extended stay in the South. Duncan and I never felt the need to be constantly together. In fact, we both find such behavior utterly gauche. A marriage is merely a contract, after all. No need to romanticize it unnecessarily. Commoners, perhaps. People of my standing cannot afford to indulge in such frivolities. We have entire bloodlines and fortunes to consider. Some of these alliances span as far back as the homelands. Love is something to sing about at court, but marriage is a transaction. My mother instilled that in me when I was just a little girl with pigtails. Very fashionable ones, of course. It is indeed. Well, it's a shame you were born into the unwashed masses, I suppose. Oh, yes, of course. Someone delivered a ransom letter to the mansion. Quite absurd, really. Duncan is the one who handles all the finances. I'm not even sure where he keeps the money. And I certainly don't plan to lower myself to meet the demands of some lowlives. That's why I need you to retrieve my husband. He's not dead. Don't be ridiculous. They need him for the money, don't they? Honestly, must I do all the thinking? I tried, but that oaf at the gate forbade me from entering the keep. Outrageous. Besides, have you met them? They are utterly incompetent. They fancy themselves as Southern Knights of the Round Table. I have met actual knights, and trust me, these men are not the same. Marvelous. Here's the letter. All the details should be inside. Now, chop chop, there is no time to waste.
Damn it, I should have guessed she'd hire you. I was hoping she'd notify the keepers and then just forget about me after a week or two. Clearly, I was considering making a deal with one of the local gangs to stage an actual kidnapping, but I thought better of it in the end. They're not exactly a trustworthy bunch. I didn't want to disappear forever, but I was afraid they might do their job a bit too well. Oh, please, you know my wife. She even dragged you into that entire debacle with the mansion. Now she has decided she wants to stay here, to leave Camelot, leave our entire life behind and move to the middle of nowhere. And I bet in 2 months you'll want to move again. Maybe to the Forlorn Swords or somewhere equally absurd. I just can't take it anymore. I'm too old for this. I want a loving wife, a family, some damn stability. nobility at last! When I arrived in Camelot, I had money, but I lacked useful connections. The Morays were an old and well-respected family on the edge of financial ruin. Our interests were aligned. As for Alisa, she was young, beautiful, and, well, we barely spoke before the wedding. I thought it was their strict traditions, but really they probably didn't want her scaring me off. I hoped she'd settle down eventually, but these people, they're just different. All they care about is outdoing each other. Leaving a woman like Alisa isn't that simple. Her family would ruin me, and I provided them with the means to do so. Believe me, it was simpler to cut my losses, grab what money I could, and start over as far away from them as possible. I cut off my finger, just in case someone did come looking. I hoped they'd find it and bring it to Alisa as proof that I was gone. Oh, thank you. I really appreciate it. I guess I didn't think it all the way through. And I wasn't expecting it to hurt so much. No, she doesn't. She's only interested in having a husband who fulfills her every need. In her eyes, our marriage is perfect. Or at least it's perfect for someone like her. Look, my parents had a loving, harmonious relationship. That's what I wanted for myself. But when that didn't happen, I chose to marry to improve my social standing, hoping love would eventually come. It never did. No, I haven't, because I know she's just not the right person for me. I don't love her, and she doesn't love me. And believe it or not, I think she deserves more than that. She just hasn't realized it yet. Just tell her I'm dead, Say, my body was eaten by bears or something. Please, if I go back, we'll just both end up miserable forever. Come on. Fine. Here, take some of my savings. It's all I can offer without starving myself to death inside of a month. Just please be gentle when you tell her. And goodbye. I hope we never meet again.
Well, you're back, but I see that you're alone. Surely a few mere bandits didn't outwit you. He's... What? But you promised to return with him. And the bandits, didn't they want money? And his body? Surely you didn't just leave him there. Oh, gods. That's dreadful. My poor Duncan. Do you think he assumed I wouldn't send anyone for him and attempted to escape on his own? He could be so foolish. Sometimes I felt as though he had absolutely no faith in me. What am I going to do now? Returning to Camelot will be utterly insufferable. Indeed, losing one's husband to bandits in the untamed South does have a certain novel tragedy compared to, say, a hunting accident. Even so, dealing with all those insincere well-wishers who secretly delight in my misfortune is utterly tiresome. I shall miss the simplicity we had here, fleeting as it was. This is a nightmare! Ugh. I should begin packing, and something must be done about this house. Goodness, I don't even know where to begin. Would you like it? I could part with it for 500 gold coins. Does that sound reasonable for a house? Stay? And engage in what precisely? Have you not observed that I lack what one might call practical skills? Aside from my impeccable taste in fashion, that is. I suppose I could open a dressmaking parlor, but where would I even get the materials? Not to mention clientele. Really? That would be absolutely marvelous. Well then, I guess I'll think about your offer. Now, would you be so kind as to excuse me? I must begin organizing Duncan's belongings. Indeed. Thank you ever so much. Yes? What about him? Well, to be perfectly honest, I believe I do. I never anticipated that I would, but his absence does indeed bother me sometimes. You know, I always thought we lived rather separate lives, yet now I sense a certain emptiness around me at times. I find it quite unnerving, I must say. Gods, no. At least, I don't believe so. He was a respectable husband, certainly, but, well, love and marriage are two distinctly separate matters, and only one holds value for a woman in my position. Whatever for? I recall a cousin of mine, utterly smitten with a stable hand. Yes, it's just as cliché as it sounds. She attempted to elope with him, the naive fool. They were apprehended almost immediately. He met a tragic end, and she lost all prospects of a respectable union. So, you see, love has always seemed a dreadful hassle to me. Let me see. Not entirely dreadful. The fabric is almost decent, although the cut is terribly outdated. Whoever wore this must have been near destitute, or just stole it off someone else's corpse, I suppose. Regardless, it presents a fascinating challenge. Thank you for this. Here, a token for your troubles. Oh, you. That's terribly kind of you, truly, but I simply cannot accept it. You are, after all, most likely risking your life to get these for me. Or, well, if not your life, then at least your health and personal hygiene, I suppose. So, regardless of your feelings on the matter, I insist on compensating you adequately. But still, thank you. Very well, off you go then. Oh, I'm so glad you decided to visit today. I've just learned some terribly distressing news, and I need to share them with someone. You see, I was going through the correspondence Duncan left behind, and imagine my shock when I discovered letters between him and my parents. It turns out my family was completely bankrupt when we married. Can you believe that? Though, I must admit, it has shed some light on a few aspects of my upbringing. Well, for one, have you ever encountered a noblewoman tasked with sewing her own garments? At the tender age of 12, my mother subtly steered me towards tailoring, positing it as a fitting pursuit for a lady of my station. I spent my time redesigning her old dresses, thinking it was just for fun. But now I realize they probably couldn't afford new ones for me. Why on earth should you be sorry? It's my parents who ought to feel remorse. And Duncan for concealing the truth from me all these years. I spent my entire life believing my family was above such petty concerns as money, destined for something far more grand. And yet, there I was, sold to the highest bidder. But now I'm relieved you convinced me to stay in the South. It truly feels like a fresh start for me. Surprisingly, no. I thought I would miss the parties, the bustling social scene, my family, but I don't, not really. Camelot was always so stifling. I hardly had a moment to myself. I feared the quiet and isolation here might unnerve me, yet it's been quite the contrary. Moreover, I found our conversations, albeit brief, to be far more sincere than years of superficial chatter with my so-called friends. Oh, well, that's delightful to hear. I would be quite dismayed to think my company was boring you, or worse, that you possessed such lamentable taste as to think so. Oh, trust me, I find plenty of excitement here. The creative kind, of course, since, well, truth be told, I hardly ever leave the house. It's starting to feel rather stifling, but I haven't yet mustered the courage to go outside and explore. Splendid! This piece is indeed intriguing, although I must confess, I was secretly hoping for something with a bit more flair. All my current designs feel tragically mundane, and I've nothing in the house I could use to adorn them. Well, given that we're in the South, it may sound somewhat trite, but I have developed quite a fondness for marine-inspired motifs. I could start with some seashells, perhaps. Not too many, perhaps 12 or so. I'm not certain yet. I'll need to give it more thought. Ah, the seashells. Thank you. You know, this might be the most humble gift I've ever received, but it could also be the most precious. Truthfully, I was somewhat skeptical of whether you were actually listening to my ramblings. And for that, I am deeply grateful. I've always had the impression that Duncan became rather weary of my endless babble. Though, upon reflection, I confess I found his conversations equally tiresome. I'm sorry to cut this visit short, but there is something I simply must attend to as soon as possible. But I'd really love it if you visited again soon. Oh, that sounds delightful. Just make sure it's somewhere picturesque, hmm? The South is supposed to be famous for its breathtaking landscapes, but so far, the only thing that's taken my breath away is the smell of fish. Oh, I know. When we came here with Duncan, I noticed a lovely little terrace overlooking the sea. We could go there, make it a proper outing. Maybe a picnic. That sounds charmingly provincial, doesn't it? Oh, I can't wait. Please, let me know when you're ready to set out. Absolutely. I've longed to leave these four walls. Oh, I'm terribly curious about where you have chosen to take me. Let's depart. I wish to waste no more time in waiting. Ah, this is quite an endearing spot, albeit rather windy, and the decor leaves much to be desired. I must confess that ghastly statue had entirely escaped my memory until now. Now, what shall we talk about? You know almost everything there is to know about me, and yet I hardly know anything about your life. Tell me, have you always been a mercenary? And you just agree? Oh, you poor dear. We must work on your confidence. Trust me, nobody says no quite like a moray. Well, you do have a strong presence. An officer's role would have been a commendable pursuit. My grandfather, a legate in the Camelot army, always complained about the recruits being weaklings, yet I suspect he would have been rather satisfied with you. However, he was also very fond of yelling, and seldom entertained the opinions of others. If those are qualities every officer must possess, then permit me to express my relief at your alternate path. Are you insinuating that my grandfather failed in his duties? Well, you would be correct. He was dispatched to suppress a rebellion and vanished, never to return. Rumors swirled that he met his end at the hand of his own troops. It might have been nothing but hearsay, yet, well, let's just say I wouldn't be surprised. He was a terrifying man. Every time he visited, I would excuse myself to hide in my rooms. But look at us, drifting back to my favorite subject, me. Although I relish discussing myself, today is meant to be about you. But first, Now, I must admit, I've been positively aching with anticipation to delve into the tales of your exhilarating escapades. Your life appears so fabulously thrilling. So, do tell me, what's the most exciting thing that has happened to you recently? Oh, you flatterer. That's rather obvious, isn't it? No. Tell me about some of your real adventures, if you don't mind. Have you encountered any other captivating individuals? Oh, no. Don't tell me that ridiculous little legend the locals insist on sharing is actually true. I do adore a bit of folklore, but to actually believe it, unthinkable. Go on then, convince me. I simply must hear more. Oh, you poor thing, that's terrible. Oh, and here I was doubting you. How dreadfully rude of me. Although, I suspect there's far more to this strange marine excursion than you're letting on. I wouldn't mind you telling me all about it one day. Don't be coy, darling. You should know by now that I rarely do anything for which I have no patience or desire. Besides, the evenings here are indeed rather slow, so the prospect of your delightful company to enliven them is most welcome. Now, I've had a lovely time, but it's getting late, and I'd rather not be caught by nightfall on my way home. I do hope we can do this again sometime. Oh, you've arrived! Marvelous. I must confess, I've been eagerly awaiting your next visit. Today, I have crafted something quite special just for you. Here, behold my very first creation, expressly designed just for you. Well, yes, but not this one, my dear. This one is extraordinary, and not exactly fitting for the court, since, as you very well know, it was sewn together from rags. Nevertheless, I'm confident it will look splendid on you. Besides, I designed it to be practical as well as striking, so it should serve you well on your travels. What? No, of course not. Perish the thought. But I must confess I've grown rather fond of you. And I am not averse to the idea of exploring a more intimate connection. What? Certainly not. Don't be preposterous. Blushing is a pastime for the timid and unseasoned girls, not for a woman of my stature and breeding. Me blushing? The very thought. No. Well, I used to think living among the unwashed masses in the wilderness was beneath me, yet here we are. I'm not sure if what I feel for you is love, but this time I'm not opposed to exploring the possibility. Then I'm relieved to hear that. Well, if you'll pardon my boldness, I would not be opposed to a kiss. And then, perhaps we could see where the evening leads us. Darling, I must say I've thoroughly enjoyed your company. I do hope you don't have to rush off just yet. Do you, dearest? I think you know me well enough by now to realize I have an insatiable love for novelty. And you, my dear, are simply a delight in that regard. Oh, no, not at all. But I suppose that's something we'll both discover with time, isn't it? How marvelous! In fact, I've been meaning to suggest something. I've thought about this for a while, and this mansion is rather grand for just one person. I don't know if you already have suitable lodgings, but, well, I'm offering you one now. Oh, think nothing of it. I'd simply love to have you around more, and together we could make this place far more livable, don't you think? The interior is charming enough, but the outside, utterly dreadful. Yes, the view is divine and the beach is pleasant, but we can't very well sit in the sand all day, can we? Oh, and imagine a garden. It would be so lovely to have fresh flowers in abundance. No need to worry, my dearest. I've already drawn up a list of all the improvements we could make. Oh, and it's going to be simply magnificent, I assure you. Ah, is there anything more romantic than a proper garden? Imagine the blossoms in spring, the scent of fresh herbs wafting through the air. I did consider hiring a gardener, but no. It's time for me to sink my fingers into the fresh soil and bring forth the fruits of my own labor, just as village women have done for centuries. It can't be too hard, can it? If the peasants can manage it. The pond is certainly a choice. Well, to be honest, I'm rather used to more ornamental pieces, but this is nice as well. Very quaint, very rustic, fitting. I only hope nothing lays eggs in there. Ugh. Darling, the workshop is simply magnificent. My sanctuary, a place where inspiration can flourish, unburdened by clutter and inconvenience. Oh, just imagine the gowns, the embroidery, the masterpieces that will emerge from these very walls. I hope you're prepared, dearest, because soon everyone will be clamoring for even the smallest samples of my craft. Darling, I must admit, the work you've done around the house is tremendous. Dare I say you've finally made it feel like home. And while I may have exuded cheer and enthusiasm, deep down I wasn't particularly excited about living in the South at first, you know. I simply wanted something different. But now, I suppose, it's grown on me. I'm glad to be here, and I'm glad to have someone to share it with. there you are, my dear. I'm always glad to see you. Here, something to remember me by.